arbeite Unternehmen und Kooperationen. Wir sind eine Gruppe von Unternehmensleitern, die Deutschland vertreten. What I just said is Germany is hello consultants, business executives, and also corporations. We are a group of consultants representing Germany today. We hope by the end of this presentation you'll be able to make a wise decision on whether you should do business in Germany, and we represent that you should do business in Germany. Today we will be covering a few topics to help introduce you to Germany's colorful background and make your decision on your business relations in the future. Right now I'm going to introduce Brooke Rigby. She is going to be covering the geography of Germany. To her right is Crystal Joseph. She'll be covering the culture of Germany, and to her right is Evan Remus. He's going to be covering the politics of Germany, and to his right is Cutter Renty, who will be covering the history of Germany and also the demographics and closing out the overall presentation. My name is Katie Bertano, and I'm a graduate from Harvard University. I have my PhD in economics, and I've been living in Germany for the past 7 years. Today I'm going to talk to you about the economics of Germany, mostly the Eurozone crisis, and then also the competitiveness of the euro in the world market today, and then as well the general facts of our economy. Okay, so the Eurozone crisis. I know it's speculative and it's a huge problem Europe's facing today, but with Germany you don't have to worry about it. While there is an overall deficit among the EU, Germany is the main contributor to the periphery when doing budget cuts and trying to buy bonds off of other countries. The main problems with the Eurozone today are going to be the semi-permanent recession, which is a worldwide crisis right now. America is suffering from recession, and this began in about 2009. But throughout this whole process, except for the exception of the year 2009, Germany has maintained a positive growth, and last year it was 3.1%. Also, there's a jobs crisis among the EU, mostly among the youth. Countries such as Spain, Greece, and Portugal have 50% of their youth unemployed. This is not a problem in Germany. We only have a rate of 6% unemployment, which is impressive compared to the United States, 7.9%. The fiscal deficit is a problem, and you can see in this graph it was 79.4 billion euros in 2009 when the deficit started beginning to happen, but it has been growing, which all the countries have, and that's only because we've been buying bonds off of the economies of the periphery, which are going to be known as the PIGS: Portugal, Ireland, Greece, and Spain. But we have a positive credit rating, AAA, which it was concerned a little bit ago, about 4 months ago, that we were going to lose that rating, but we still maintain that rating and we're still paying off all of our debts. Now we're going to talk a little bit about the rate of the euro. As you can see, it's 0.77 euros to $1 US. So I'm sure some of the representatives from America are curious as to why we'd want to invest money into a country where we'd be losing value. Well, some of the reasons would be Germany is known for their quality and their tradition on being on time and punctual. And that has a lot to do with their products, such as BMW and Mercedes. They're known for their quality, and because they have that luxury consumer base, they constantly are selling their products. Now I'm just going to talk a little bit about some facts about the German economy. We're the 5th largest economy in the world, right behind Norway, the United States, China, and Japan in no particular order. Our GDP last year was $3.144 trillion, according to CIA WorldFactbook.org. Our growth was 3.1%, which I previously mentioned, and per capita GDP is $38,100. Our labor force is 43.67 million, and our population below the poverty line is 15.5%. Now, compared to our overall population, which Cutter will cover, there's about 83 million people in our country, so that's not that high of a number, especially with the recession all of Europe is facing. Our inflation rate is 2.5%, which is generally low for a first world country, and we mainly export to the Netherlands, France, the United States, China, and the UK. Our industries are going to be vehicles, like I mentioned, iron, steel, and textiles. Today I covered the economics, why the Eurozone crisis should not wear you away from business in our country. I also covered why, even though the euro is worth less to the US dollar, you should still invest, and also some of the main facts about our economy. I strongly suggest you do participate in business in Germany because of our traditional values, the consumer base they already have, and the fact that their business is constantly booming and they're always in a surplus in the EU. Now I'm going to pass it over to Brooke Rigby, who's going to talk a little bit about geography.
Hello everyone, my name is Brooke Rigby and I graduated from Stanford University with a degree in geography, and for the past few years now I've been studying the geography of Germany. Now what I'd like to tell you about today is the location of Germany and its surroundings, which make it convenient to do business with. I'd like to tell you about its climate and its terrain. Now to get started. Germany is located in Central and Western Europe, so it's right in the heart of Europe. And the location is very strategic because, as you can see, it has access to the North Sea and the Baltic Sea. And also it borders with 9 different countries, and it's divided into 16 states. So this makes it easy to do business with all these surrounding countries because it borders with so many of them. To move on to their geography and their climate, their capital city is Berlin, and that is their largest city, having about 3.44 million people in it. And their major cities, other than that, according to World Factbook, include Hamburg, Munich, and Cologne. And all of these cities have about 1.5 million people in them. And their area is 137,847,000 square miles. And within this area, they have 81 airports. And their major airports include the Frankfurt Airport, Munich Airport, and Berlin Tegel Airport. The Frankfurt Airport is their largest airport, and it's the 3rd busiest airport in all of Europe. And it is their major international airport. So if you were flying into there, you'd probably go to that airport to move on to other business. Now to tell more about their terrain. The climate is cool and it has wet winters, but with mild summers. And in Berlin, the average low temperature for winter is 28.6 degrees Fahrenheit, and the average high temperature in Berlin for the summer is 74.7 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's easy to adjust to the different temperatures because they're not too cold and they're not too warm, but it would be important to adjust appropriately to do business there. Now in the north they have lowlands and the center is uplands, and in the south they do have the Alps. Land use, 33% of the land can be used for farming, and 0.6% of the land is permanently used for farming. Natural hazards that they have to look out for would include flooding, and also their natural resources would be coal, timber, copper, natural gas, and nickel. So if you were in those businesses, it'd be easy to get natural resources from there. Now that I've told you about the climate and terrain of Germany and their strategic location, how it's easy to do business there, I hope you decide to do some business with us. And now I'd like to pass it over to Crystal to talk about the culture.
Hello, I am Crystal Joseph, and I have a PhD in global studies. And currently I work as a cultural analyst. I'll be going over the culture in Germany. The main things I'll be talking about is the overall aspects about German culture, personal etiquette, and most importantly, business etiquette and how Germans perceive business in Germany. Some of the main aspects about Germany is Oktoberfest. Oktoberfest is one of the most popular festivals in the world. It celebrates King Ludwig's his marriage to his bride. Today, it's considered a drinking festival, but it's dated several hundred years ago, and it's originated in Munich. Another important aspect about Germany is Neuschwanstein, and that is the most popular landmark in Germany. It is King Ludwig's I castle. He had many, but this is one of his famous ones, and he also lived there. Foosball is an important pastime in Germany. It gives it its nationalism, and it creates an identity for the Germans. Christmas is actually celebrated with St. Nicholas, bringing gifts to the kids. Black Forest cake is one of its most popular dish, and it is eaten by many people in Germany. So according to CIA World Book, the official language is German, and over 95% of the population do speak German. And it's actually considered rude to not speak German if you do not speak it, if you don't attempt to. A little bit about personal etiquette. Greetings are taken to be very formal. You always give a person a handshake, and you always greet them by their first and last name. Punctuality, as Katie mentioned before, is taken very seriously in Germany. Appointments are given about 2 weeks' notice, or if not more. Arriving late and arriving early is considered rude. You want to be there on time and to be punctual. This makes Germans reliable, which is why doing business there would be a good idea. Another important aspect would be their table manners, and as you can see in this picture over here, that shows an idea of how their table manners and just manners and etiquette is important. According to Business Etiquette Groupbook.com, Germany is ranked one of the top 5 countries to take so much importance to etiquette and table manners. Another thing about personal etiquette is their home. To Germans, their home is a sanctuary. This is where they bring close relatives, business people, and family. They keep it clean and they keep it proper all the time. Now about business etiquette. One of the most important things about business etiquette in German culture is that work and personal lives do not coincide. They do not mix, they just don't go together. So an example of this would be if a person is going to his work day, staying after past the hours is actually considered rude in Germany because it says to the Germans that you didn't spend your day to its fullest potential, and to make it equal to like laziness. Titles are also very important in Germany. Knowing where another person's level is or an authority is compared to yours is imperative. And this brings up the subject about walking into rooms. The eldest person or the person with the most highest authority is to walk in first. Also, men is supposed to walk in before women. Women do not have the same level of respect as men in Germany today, but it's continuously changing. So I went over the overall aspects about Germany, about the culture. I talked about how punctuality is key, and I also talked about how work and personal lives do not coincide with each other. Culture in Germany is rich and is embedded in their daily lives every single day. Germans are reliable and punctual, so doing business there would be a great idea. Thank you, and now I'm going to pass it to my colleague, Evan Dramus.
Hello, my name is Evan Dramus. I am a Harvard graduate, and I'm the current ambassador in Germany for the Americans. Today I'm going to talk about the parties and the government in Germany, the legislation, and a recent bill that has just been passed in Germany, in the German government, to help with trade. First off, Germany is a federal republic with a proportional representation. This allows for multiple parties and allows the community to get involved with the government. This creates better opportunities for the government, so that way the country can get more involved with the decisions that are made, and they can't argue with what the leaders are saying. They have a president, and the president is voted every 5 years, but it is more of a figurehead. If I was to compare it to anything, I would compare it to England and how they have a queen, but the queen doesn't make many of the decisions that the government makes. The main decision maker is a chancellor, Angela Merkel. She is a conservative, and she has been in office since 2005. She makes most of the main decisions. She really runs the country. It's really not up to the president. It's more up to the chancellor. Now, the chancellor is voted every 4 years by a majority vote of a federal diet. And the president, like I said, is voted every 5 years. Now, with little checks and balances going on in the government, this allows for popular votes. So if Angela Merkel went against public health or I guess state health, then she would get voted out because Germany is really for public health. Also, the government is run by one party or a coalition of 2 parties with the Green Party. This allows for easy legislation to go on through the German government. The legislator has 2 houses, or is bicameral. The Bundesrat, which has 69 votes based on states in Germany, and the Bundestag, which has 622 seats in the House, which is based on population of different parts of Germany. The bill that has recently just been passed has been a bill, according to WallStreetJournal.com, that has made allowance for high-frequency trade to go on and made it easier and better regulations. Since high-frequency trade is 40% of the government in Germany and the economy, this creates more opportunities for Germany and creates more market opportunities for Germany. The rules are that you must register with the German Federal Financial Supervising Authority. You must pay fees for trading, and circuit breakers are now installed so that way if there's errors going on in the trade, that it will be caught immediately and it will be changed. This is good for the country just because the government is now opening up to more markets and more trading opportunities to help create the economy to rise. Today I talked about the parties and the legislation and the recent bill that has just been passed. I suggest you do business with Germany just because it's trying to open up, it's trying to become more of an economic friendly country, and it's trying to find more opportunities. Now I'll pass it to Cutter Runte, who will talk about history.
Hi, I'm Cutter Runte. I'm a German history major here from St. Edward's University. Today we'll be discussing some of the main aspects of World War I, World War II, and also where German society is today as far as demographics go. I'd like to start by getting into the World War I main points. According to PBS.org, World War I, a total of 16 million people lost their lives, and this contributed to the lost generation. This is just states that the potential for this generation to make Germany a better place was lost completely. Next, Germany had to pay reparations, which was part of the Treaty of Versailles, which was signed in Paris. It says that you had to pay the reparations to lives lost and also to the states individually that were involved. Also, this altered the borders of Germany to what it is today. Germany was held responsible for the entire war, and the territory was given out evenly within the states. Nobody got more land than one another. Next was the Weimar Republic, which kind of led to the beginning of Adolf Hitler's era. The Weimar Republic stated that to ensure Germany was on the right track, Weimar Republic was created and was a democratic form of government, which was disliked by the general public and led to the corruption, which was taken advantage of by Adolf Hitler. Going into my next main point, which is the World War II. According to history, 1900s.com, this World War was started due to the other nations wanting to appease Germany because they felt that they were treated too harshly, and so they decided to give them back some of the power, and one of those was military. And once the military was given back to Germany, that's when Adolf Hitler kind of started the Nazi Party and nationalism, which was the idea of blaming their problems on a scapegoat, and in this instance it was the non-Aryan population. Going to my third main point, which is the demographics of Germany today. According to indexgermany.com, the population is just over 81.3 million people. The religions are 34% Protestant, 34% Roman Catholic, 3.7% Muslim, and 28.3% other. The ethnic composition is mainly German. It's 92% German. It's 2.4% Turkish and 6.1% other. So there's not a lot of diversity like there is here in the United States. The infant mortality rate is 3.51 deaths per thousand. The population growth is slowly growing at 0.2%. The education is at 4.5% GDP, and the health percent is at 8.1% GDP. The average time spent in school is 16 years, which is a little bit less than what we have here in the United States. The unemployment rate is also less than what we have here in the United States at 6%. And the independence for Germany was stated at January 18th, 1871. Now to conclude my presentation, I talked about World War I and how that led into World War II as far as appeasement goes. Now I talked about World War II and how Germany was, again, responsible for that one. And then I discussed demographics very briefly, talking about the population and GDP. To wrap up this entire presentation, Katie started us off talking about the economy. She stated that Germany has a strong workforce and reputation in the world market. Brooke was next. She discussed the geography and how Germany's location is imperative to the economic success. Next was Crystal, who talked about the culture. She She stated that in Germany, personal and business relationships are rigidly divided. Next was Evan, who talked about politics. He said the PR system makes legislature possible and very quick. And then I summed up the presentation and concluded it with history as far as World War I, World War II, and the demographics of Germany, the country. I'd like to thank you all for coming out, listening to our presentation. If you do have any questions, please feel free to ask.